Hey, Audio Road listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile? Or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our Tribe Care Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Good morning, you beautiful bunch of Fockers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Tuesday, December 3rd. We are here live. It's time for the Power Hour. I see we've got Brian and Leroy with us. We'll hear from them, and then we'll hear from you and find out what we can help you with today. If you have any questions about anything related to maintenance or repairs, pick up the phone and give us a call, 855-950-3835, or hit that call now button on your app. Brian, Leroy, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bruce seems to be AWOL this morning. Does anybody know where he is?
I think he's on a plane from Cabo to Florida.
Got it.
I think, but I don't know. He doesn't let me know his travel plans usually, so.
You know, I'm pretty sure all the planes have Wi-Fi. He should just do the show from the plane.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I don't see why not. So
I know I would.
So what if
I
it
was on
annoys the people around you?
What's that?
I said, so what if it annoys the people around you?
I don't think it would annoy them. It would educate them. I mean, they would learn all about the benefits of max mileage and
There you go.
things like that.
Maybe we'd get questions from the plane.
Yeah, the pilot would probably come out and be like, "Can I put that in my home plane?"
Yeah. And then the pilot might say, hey, every time I turn this lever, I get this noise. Can you guys help me with this?
Yeah.
I think we
And
could, too.
I'll ask if he's running the flashpoint,
I think we're on to something.
Yeah, I think so.
So, speaking of which, there was Larry. You've seen Larry Wingett. He's retired now, but he did a thing that was funny. He traveled a lot, and when I travel on planes, I do not want to talk to anybody. Don't start a conversation, and I make sure people don't. I put on my headphones. I'm always in the window. I turn away. I don't want to talk to people on airplanes. Larry had a fix for that, and this is a real thing. He had book covers made, because he reads a lot when he's on the plane, but he had these custom book covers made with titles like How to Sell Insurance on a Plane, or how to find love on your next flight, that kind of stuff. And he would just set the book down with those covers. He said nobody ever talked to him.
Huh, that's a good idea.
That
I
is a
usually
good
just
idea.
look really angry.
Yeah.
People
Put on headphones and look angry. That works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Usually. Yeah. All right. So I have absolutely nothing this morning. What do you guys have?
More of the same. Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Good. It's we have phone calls. That's actually a good thing. We could just go to the calls if we need to.
Yeah, I don't have anything for an opener. What about you, Brian?
Nope, I'm good.
Wow.
I'm a rookie here.
You sure?
Yeah.
I saw you come in with a little binder. I thought you had something.
Boy, nobody's going to accuse us of being Boy Scouts.
No.
We are not prepared. So we will go to phone calls, because I don't even have any notes. I was counting on you guys. You guys usually always have stuff to talk about.
I was counting on you. Isn't there some sort of Elon news or something?
I don't know. I haven't been very active on X this week. I'm kind of taking December very casually. I'm taking time off. I haven't taken any time off in a while. I say that I took a week off a while back, but the problem is when I take a week off, I get too busy and then I don't rest. And I think I'm just going to kind of cruise through December nice and easy.
I was doing no effort November, but I mean
Ah,
November's a
that's an idea. All right. Well, let's get to some phone calls. Sounds like somebody wants to talk to us this morning. Let's go to Alabama. Bill, what's on your mind?
Morning, everybody. Boy, this is the quickest introduction for Pittsburgh Power I've seen in a long time.
You know, I usually at least have one or two things I can talk about because sometimes you know how these guys are at Pittsburgh Power. They don't always show up on time. Sometimes I start the show and they're not around. So I have
Well,
to
you
have
know how hard it is to find good help nowadays.
yeah, you ain't kidding. So I
They're
have to have
never on
something
time.
something to talk about. Well, today I took a chance. I'm like, God, they'll have
Yeah, I hear
something to talk about, and here we are.
All right, got a question. I run T6 full synthetic, and I don't know, for some odd reason, the weather's starting to turn like super cold, like really quick for some odd reason. I'm not down south. Now, I travel up north and stuff like that. What kind of, I mean, one, because I run a tri-pack. One, what's the, when should I think about using a block heater to install one? And two, does it really do any damage when it's like 25 out and try to start it? I mean, she starts fine. It's just, you know how like everything
So
gets kind of cold and you know what I mean?
Yeah, here's my take on this. First, I've been around the sun 61 times, and every time when we get to December, it gets cold. It's amazing.
Oh, you
Happens
ain't
every
kidding.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, even when I lived in
yeah.
Florida, still got cold. Just not cold like we think of, but it still got
It was
cold.
32 this morning. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
go
was
ahead.
pretty chilly here too. So the block heater for me would be much more about your convenience than it would be about extending the life of the engine. We do that. There is the most wear occurs on startup. We know that. But
Uh-huh.
we also know
Uh-huh.
that the vast majority of diesel engines out there don't have block heaters and they still go a
Uh-huh.
million plus miles. We don't even rebuild these things anymore. I mean, at a
Okay.
million
Okay.
miles, they're not using oil. So I wouldn't look at
Yeah.
it as this is going to extend the life of my vehicle. I just don't see that. But it's pretty darn nice when it's really cold to just start it up and know that it's going to start. So it's
Yeah.
really, more convenience for you than anything else.
Okie dokie. That's
Anybody
all
else have any
I
thoughts on
just
that?
Just don't forget to unplug them.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a given.
Yeah, I drove away with I had a little Volkswagen Rabbit diesel,
Oh boy.
and I forgot to unplug it, and I was dragging the extension cord down the road, ripped the light off the Haas and everything else. So
You just needed a longer
Yeah.
cord, that's all.
yeah, I guess so. And
Yeah.
I only lived
We
a
used to have-
mile away from Pittsburgh Power at that time.
Used to have this probe used to stick in a snowblower to stick it down where the dipstick was just to heat the oil back in the day. I'm sure Kevin knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything that keeps the temperature up a little bit makes it easier to start. Although, again, I'll go back to Bill. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, since 2014.
Okay, not that long. If you
Mhm.
go back before modern diesels, back in the 80s, cold weather starts were rough, really rough. I mean, you used ether and jump starts, and but these engines also start much better than they used to in the cold.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I do
Yeah,
appreciate y'all's time, guys.
All
I
right.
I think there would be
All right.
some benefit to having a block heater when it comes to the after treatment because it takes a lot more fuel to warm up, and that's when it's the least happy is during cold start and warm up. So the faster you can get it out of that mode, I think there'd be some small benefit, but
Well, that's
I
an
don't
interesting.
know how much of a benefit that would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thought. A lot of this would come down to how often I needed it. There are some people it
Right.
would be a total waste of ever any kind of block heater. Somebody else spends a lot of time in the extreme cold. It's pretty nice to have. So just
Yeah.
depends. Let's go to Virginia. Stephen, good morning.
Hey, Kev. Good morning. Hey, I got a question about oil viscosity, but that block heater idea, he was just talking about using it when it's 25 degrees. Doesn't the
Oh,
block heater really only maintain somewhere around 30 degrees anyway? So it's not really a
yeah,
huge deal at 25 degrees, but
I didn't hear
when you
that.
start getting below zero,
If I didn't get below zero a pretty regular amount of time, I wouldn't bother with it. Today's trucks will start just fine down to zero. I don't see any problem there at all.
yeah. Yeah, between the thinner weight and this, the
You know, and
viscosity, last week I heard it. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say one of the more important factors here, really the biggest problem with cold temperature startups these days, it was worse when we had mechanical engines. The biggest problem today is if you have a hard time starting it, it's probably your fuel quality. Because it's the contaminants in fuel that's really start to cause problems as things get cold. Get a little bit of water, it won't disperse in there. It makes it very hard starting. So I would say your best bet is to run a good fuel conditioner, um, like max mileage and what's the name of the other product? Help me out
The
here.
cold snout. The
Yes,
cold snout.
there you go. That would be as important or more important to me than running some kind of block heater or fuel heater. It's just make sure you've got your fuel taken care of.
Yeah. So that driver that called in last week about oil viscosity, I couldn't find the answer for it because you probably will remember. He called because he did an oil change. He wanted full synthetic T6, but his oil sample was showing viscosity that was leading him instead of a
Oh yeah,
T6 530. It was, but
right.
Rotella makes a T4 1540 and a T6 1540. So is it possible he still had full synthetic, but it was just a 1540 T6, not a. I couldn't find the
So he
viscosities for those
right.
two.
Well, here's the thing. The 15, the first number, all that tells us is the cold temperature viscosity, and that only matters on startup, which is what we've just been talking about. But that's not the 40 weight. 40 weight is 40 weight. So the difference, though, is synthetic. Synthetic 40 weight has lower viscosity than petroleum-based 40 weight.
Okay. Okay. So either way, the 40 weight will have less
Correct.
viscosity.
If it's a
Uh,
synthetic. Now, when you go to 30 weights, which we're running in the newer trucks, now it gets even lighter. Now, when we get down to synthetic 30 weights, our viscosity is down in the 10 range. It's much lower.
I think that's what T6 is either a 530 or a 1540. I think.
Right. That sounds right. That sounds right. But the T6 1540 will be a lower viscosity than a T4.
Okay. All right, man. Yeah,
So
good to hear.
here's
That's what I was just trying to
here's the
figure out.
explanation. That when I read this, I don't know why it helped me understand the difference in synthetic oil. If you were to take a pile of spaghetti cooked and you just kind of throw it down in a pile, that's what the molecules in petroleum oil look like. They're all kind of twisted around each other and they're kind of a mess. When whatever they do to create synthetic oil, it's like taking all those spaghetti noodles and laying them all out straight. So now what that does is it creates a thinner film strength. Think about a big pile of spaghetti just sitting there. It's going to be fairly thick. But if you lay them all out nice and straight, it becomes much thinner. That's the viscosity. The film strength is thinner, but it's actually stronger. So that's the benefit of a synthetic. That's the way an oil engineer explained it to me.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it works. That's the
Yeah.
first time I had heard that. And while I'm thinking about your fuel gauges, I just heard you last week promoting the fuel gauges moved to your app. and I guess I missed the show where you originally talked about it. So I started using that the new on the audio app for the
Right.
fuel gauges, and very nice, very nice. I like that.
Good. Good. Yeah, I don't know that we actually talked about it much or launched it really. I think we just kind of mentioned it.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't hear it
Yeah.
again, so maybe I don't know, maybe mention it a couple more times every now and again for the ones that
Good idea.
miss it, I guess. But no, good
Right.
app, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Ohio. Herschel, good morning.
Hey, what you say, Kevin?
What's on your mind today?
Well, that fuel gauges thing that guy was just talking about, that was my fault because I brought it up last week.
Somebody should mention it once in a while. I'm not very good at it.
I had a question, but I had another thought. Oh, well, it left me. This truck that I have now, it is a 02 Western Star with a Series 60 DDAC 4. The tachometer has been wildly wrong, I think. I talked to you guys about it a couple of weeks ago. There's a dash gauge, for lack of what else to call it, a little electronic gauge. It kind of looks like the scan gauge. And it's called Data Star. So I got to playing with it, and it shows all kinds of readings. It has to be coming from the ECM because it's electronic and digital. When I'm driving the truck 60 miles an hour, 1,600 RPM, it shows on the tach, which I'm thinking, okay, this thing's got 456s in it or something. But it really doesn't. It's got 370s. I looked it up by then. But the electronic scan gauge copycat electronic gauge says 1,350. When you shut the engine off, the needle on the tachometer is between 200 and 300. It does not fall to zero. So that is the difference in the two readings. Leroy, what's the chances it is just that tachometer? Because I hate to go buy a tachometer, and that's really not what it is. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, from the Data Star and the scan gauge, those are both readings from the ECM, and I don't remember the kind of tech that it was in Joe's truck, but if it's like a mechanical one with a needle, it could be sticking. So I think it's a pretty good chance it's probably just your tach.
Okay. Well, I hated to buy a tach because they're over a couple $100 if that's not really what it is, if I needed to do something else first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's most likely what it is, especially if you're seeing it sticking with the engine off.
Yeah, it's between 200 and 300, which is pretty much what it's different when you look at the electronic against the needle on the dash for the tachometer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look for one of them dudes and get me a new one.
So why'd you get rid of the
That's
Volvo?
Why did I get rid of it? Well, the reason is the service manager, who was my ally at the local dealer, he is leaving the job and going to go be a policeman. So he was always my ally between what the people that owned that business wanted to charge me and what was fair. He was my ally in between. So I was losing my ally in between when I did take the truck in to get something done, and it didn't have to be a real big major part, really. Availability of parts was always a problem. They never had it. They had to be ordered in, and it would take a month of Sundays to get it. And without an ally at that dealer, and there's a couple of independent places around here, but they're slower than a snail's itch too. I just decided I'm just not fighting it anymore. I lost my ally. I mean, it was a decent truck. It did me good. The fuel mileage was decent. It rode good. All those kind of things were fine, but just getting it worked on, and I've heard Kevin say it too, just getting it worked on can be a challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before.
I went back to
one of the decisions in which OEM truck you should have, or engine or driveline, comes down to, do you have a good shop to work on it?
Right. My local shop, they're really good. They'll work on it. It's no problem. Literally across the street with a pitching wedge, you could hit it with a golf ball from my wife's workplace there in Columbus. They are a Freightliner parts place owned by FIDA. So any part that I need, she can just run across the street, get it, bring it home if I'm not up there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it matters.
yeah, just kind of convenient. Kind of convenient.
I got it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
All right. Thanks for the call. Phone lines are open 855-950-3835. We'll stay here for as long as you've got questions. We're going to head off to South Carolina. Nick, welcome.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey there. I am opening your oil sample as we speak. Let me take a look at what we've got going on here. Uh-oh. Whoa. Did you order your injectors yet?
Not yet.
Okay, you need to. Or we
Okay.
gotta we have to at least look
They,
to see what's going on. You
Well-
are right at the line of there's enough fuel in your oil. I've heard that the crankcase could explode.
Okay. I dumped the oil.
Okay, good.
My shop did a pressure test. They held 70 pounds of pressure for 30 minutes on the
Pressure.
fuel system.
This isn't Nick, is it?
It is.
How you doing
This
today,
is
Nick?
Brian, ain't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, no
So,
midway on that then, I take it.
no, I can't. My shop doesn't do the dye test, so I guess I got to find a different shop to do the dye test.
Okay.
Yeah, I on a 12.7 with this kind of fuel dilution, it almost has to be injectors.
Okay.
And this is high enough.
They're
that
only like a year and a half old.
A couple things happened here that, sometimes you'll hear me string somebody along for months. Well, it's the fuel dilution's high, but it's not that high. It's, over 4, but not much. But yours went from almost nothing to 5.1 and then right to 7. So that's a pretty clear indication something went wrong. And that's a lot of fuel.
Yeah. The thing is a couple samples in between the last two. I did them with Chevron. That's who my shop uses, and Chevron's not showing any fuel dilution whatsoever.
So that we've talked about, I haven't talked about this in a while, but we used to talk about this a lot. I'm shocked that there are still labs that have not updated their equipment. They can't detect the new fuels. And when I say new, I'm talking like 10 years now. We've been dealing with this. Here's the absolute proof that there is fuel dilution. Even if look at the viscosity, what happened to it?
Went down
from 14 to 10.6. That's a huge drop in viscosity. That is the proof that there's fuel dilution. What does your Chevron sample show for viscosity?
I don't have it with me.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I did a sample with Chevron.
Yeah,
because it takes like 2 weeks to get it back. That's why I stopped using them.
Well, yeah, and the fact that if these labs should know that their equipment isn't picking up fuel dilution, and they should look at viscosity as the marker. And when they see viscosity go down that much, they should be warning you about fuel dilution.
Okay.
But with Polaris, you don't have to worry about it. You get both indicators. We clearly 7.0 on fuel dilution. That's a lot of fuel. That's a percentage.
Okay.
So you think about it. If we got to 10%, at 7%, it's bad. At 10%, you would have a gallon of fuel in your oil.
Holy shit.
Right. So at 7%, that's kind of the borderline. They say above 7%, there's enough fuel in there that the crankcase can explode.
Okay. Not sure if I made the right choice or not, but I dumped the fuel, changed the oil because they couldn't find it. I'm on a dedicated gig, so
You
I'm
dumped
going ahead
the
and running
fuel?
my loads this week. So
Did you say
did I make the wrong choice?
Did you say you dumped the fuel?
No, I dumped the oil.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You want to get that oil out of there. One, the crankcase can
Okay.
explode. I've never seen it happen. I just know that it's possible. But that kind of fuel dilution will cause all kinds of wear metals. Yeah, you did the right thing.
Yep.
You've got it when the oil's
Where do my
bad,
do my wear metals look okay?
they're fine. So this happened
Okay.
recently. So we haven't done any damage yet, and it really is a good thing you got the oil out. Now the engine's protected again. We've got good oil back in there, and I would sample at 15,000 this time. I wouldn't go 25.
Okay.
I would sample at 15 and let's see what's going on.
I'm putting it in a shop that's going to do a dye test over the Christmas break. So a couple of weeks out. So you think I'll be safe?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks on this oil, or should I dump it again?
No, you'll be fine.
Okay. Got one more quick thing.
Sure.
The volts in my truck, I don't know what the hell's going on. Going down the road, it's fine. I stop it, turn it off, and it immediately drops down to like 11, and my buzzers are going off and everything. I've cleaned up every connector on the batteries, my ground, and now it does it sometimes, and sometimes it holds where it's supposed to hold. So I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know where else to look.
Yeah, it's either some sort of connection issue somewhere, maybe not the batteries, but maybe where it goes into the power distribution module or somewhere in the cab. Also, could just be
Where is the power distribution module?
what year and what truck do you have?
It's a 16 Columbia, the glider. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, usually I can think of a Western Star of a similar year is like driver side firewall. That's usually a place.
I've changed that out already.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I'm looking at connections when you have that big. It's either a giant draw that's pulling the voltage down, or it's a bad connection, either on the power or the ground side. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that what else it could be besides those two things.
I had a shop do it. Maybe they didn't clean up all the connections good when they put the new one on there, or besides you guys, Pittsburgh Power, it's really hard to get a shop that's worth the shit, that does things the way I like to have them done, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. When it comes to that voltage reading, I mean, it all depends on so if you have like a low voltage disconnect or something that's causing your buzzers to go off, the only thing that really matters is what its voltage reading is. Like I've seen so many cases where the reading at the batteries is great, but the actual reading from where that sensor picks it up from is not good. So that's when you have to do a little bit more digging and start at, well, okay, the buzzer's going off, let's work our way back from the buzzer back to the batteries. Is how I would recommend a shop to do it.
Hey, I just want to say I'm impressed with Pittsburgh Power. Did the oil sample, and it was bad, and Brian called me. I didn't even have to, I called him before, but when he got the results, he called me and let me know, hey, man. So I thought that was pretty cool.
There you go.
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. That's all I got.
All right. That's all we need. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Iowa. Dan, welcome.
Hi, good morning, guys. Brian, did you do a couple of videos for Guru several years ago on YouTube? Was that you?
Yeah, I was in a couple of different videos that we have, yes.
I gotta compliment you on those because I first pulled it up. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a train wreck, and you did awesome on them videos. You need to do more of those because you did great on those.
I agree.
You have a future in
Well,
TV.
I do like when I seen you, I'm like, oh man, this guy is a rough, tough mechanic here. And then he's got Bruce has these clean cut younger guys doing them. I'm like, man, Brian does such a better job than anybody, I think, on these videos.
Hey, I'm on some of those videos.
yeah, he's.
I know you are. I know. I should probably watch myself a bit here, but I wanted to compliment him. I wanted to do it for years, and now that you're on the show today, I figure I'm gonna do it now. So Dan, I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Dan, over the years, over the years, I've recorded hundreds of hours of video, not one single compliment.
Well, you do great too.
He does all right. Yeah. Not like Brian.
Yeah. I got a question.
Editing and went into that though, so there was
No.
a lot of editing.
Oh yeah. Oh come on now.
What editing?
Raw dog that video.
Oh. Well, I've got a question for you guys. I called a couple years ago, and it's still I haven't gotten anything resolved, but I've got an N14. It's a 91 N14, and I've got an engine vibration, and I have done so many stinking things to this thing to try getting rid of it, and I it's still here. The only thing I have that I've noticed a difference was last year when I went to Louisville. I had my shop put new motor mounts in, and if I thought for sure that was going to do it, and if anything, it made it slightly worse than before with the new motor mounts. And I don't know what else to do anymore with it, but it's driving me freaking bonkers. Like your feet itch, your nose itches, everything's vibrating in here.
Yeah,
it'll do it at. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the front cross member where the motor mount goes. If you check that out real tight, real good. Adam here, he's the guy that does all our Hawkeyes, and he come across a couple issues with the cross member that the front motor mount goes into. It was cracked or had some issues with how it bolted up, and you gotta even look beyond the motor mount to the parts that actually hold the motor mount to the frame.
Okay. I don't remember the shop saying anything about that, so maybe the next time I go in there, which is probably next week, I'll have them take a closer look at that.
Okay. And are we?
That'll give me something.
You have to change the damper, right?
Yes, I changed it twice the last 3 years, and put the mercury balancer on it with it the last time.
All right, and it's definitely not a miss; it's a vibration, because a lot of people
it's
and confused.
Yep, no, it's definitely a vibration. I mean, it'll do it at a low idle, pick the idle up. It's still the only time I don't notice it, and maybe it'd come back to an injector or something, but the only time I do not notice it is if I am out of the throttle coasting down the hill. It goes away.
Definitely not gear train related or transmission.
Nope, I've replaced the transmission twice and new clutch in it as well.
Oh, wow.
Drive line's all been balanced, and like I said, it'll do it at an idle.
That's an interesting one.
I've replaced several injectors, but it's done it for probably 4 years now, and I'm not. It seems like every year I've replaced an injector or two on here, so I don't know if it can come back to being an injector, doing it all the time. But right now, going down the road, I can feel it in the steering wheel. You can kind of hear it in the dash, and it just drives the guy crazy.
And it
replaced all the fuel lines.
Sitting still.
Yep. It'll just sit still at an idle. It'll sit there and just the whole truck will vibrate. And it never used to do that. It used to be, completely dead silent in here.
Yeah, that'd be one we'd almost have to get in and take a look at, try to figure out. You've obviously done, your due diligence to try to figure it out.
I do.
That's one.
So I do hear you guys talk about a cylinder balance test. Is that something you do while building an engine, or is that something that can be done like right now to this thing? Like I've never heard of that really before, so I don't know if that's possible or not.
No, that's something that's the balance test. We do when we're assembling an engine, we do balance rods and pistons, but
Okay.
but the balance test is something you do after the truck is running.
So it could be done at any time,
Yes, sir.
just to make sure maybe there's something else internally going on or anything.
Yeah. Go ahead, Leroy. I'm sorry.
It kind of checks. Well, the ones that I know about are typically in checking injector balance, like whether you have a hot injector or a cold one, from cylinder to cylinder. The CCM can kind of do that.
Okay.
Itself, there are other cylinder balance tests that you can do while like pulling the ECM, just cranking. So I'm not sure which one you maybe have heard in the past, but that's like the two that I know about.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just hear it kind of thrown out there once in a while, and it's always been in the back of my mind with this vibration, like maybe something internally going on. So that's why I just thought I'd ask it.
All right.
But yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Over here. So.
All right. We're going to move on. We're going to head off to Nebraska this time. Randy, welcome to the program.
Good morning, guys. I've got a question on the OTR gauge. I bought one from you, a couple months back, and I've got it hooked up to a DD15 Cascadia in 2019. This truck has had a new head put on it and a whole new one box. And as far as the truck shows, it's doing fine, but the soot gauge on that OTR gauge shows that it's at 250%. I was just wondering, why is it doing that?
Yeah, that's pretty high. That's double plugged. I would want to verify that soot reading with like a diagnostic laptop, and then we could kind of dive in from there. Most likely, if you're getting some sort of insane reading like that, it might be some sort of sensor issue or something.
Now, I did a forced regen, and it brought it down to 0, but it took less than a week to get it back up there to the 100%, 250% again.
Yeah, there might be something in there where the accumulators weren't reset at the proper time. Have you had it cleaned recently, or?
Well, they put the whole one box on. I don't know what all that consists of. It's had EGR cooler and.
And did you have it done at a dealer?
Yeah, Freightliner.
I would assume they would know to reset the ash accumulator.
Now it don't show me an ash level. It just shows me a soot level. Is that correct? I know I got a guy that's got a Cummins. Now it shows him both an ash level and a soot level.
I can't think of a time when I've hooked an OTR to a DD15 and looked at the ash, so I can't give you a for sure answer, but I'm pretty sure that it can. If not, I imagine that's something that we can have added.
Okay, I didn't know. That's not actually my ash level. Then is that what is that what I'm kind of understanding?
Yeah, at the ash level and soot level are different, and the thing is, the accumulators, they take into account for historical data, present data, and they have like a future model. So basically past, present, and future. So it's looking at when the last time this thing was regened, how many miles since then, how much time has passed, how much fuel has gone through the system. It's looking at current readings, and it's sort of projecting a model of, okay, this is how full this filter is. Because all the computer knows is how much pressure is before the DPF and how much is after, and the difference between those. So it's like, Well, there's kind of a lot in the front, not so much in the back, so it might be plugged. But actually know how much
Well,
ash or how much soot is in there, it's a big guess. And when they put the one box in, if they didn't reset those things, that's messing up that historical data, which could be throwing off its current soot and ash level.
okay. I got my input pressure right now is 1.2 and the output is 0.6
And that is in
on the
PSI.
deep filter intake pressure and out pressure.
And that's in PSI.
In PSI, yes.
Yeah, well, for one, that's a terrible unit. But let me do a quick conversion here. You said 1.2 on the input.
Yeah, 1 to 1.2.
So 2.4 and 0.6.
Like right now, it's getting on it a little bit, and it went up to 1.9 to 1, and it's at 1 on the outlet.
Yeah, so you're at like 1.2, which is fairly. Is it telling you that the soot level is normal right now, or is it telling you it's
Yes,
high?
on the OTR gauge, it's still at 250%. It has been for almost a week now. And I haven't done I was waiting for the truck. The truck has a soot level gauge in it, if you know kind of what the Cascadia is. It's showing normal. It's showing normal. It'll go up to like halfway, and then it'll do a regen while you're going down the road. And I guess that was another question I was wondering. I could do a forced regen on it again and make it come down. Is that what I should be doing, or what do you think?
I don't think you need to do a forced regen unless you are in a situation where you know you're not going to feel temperature for a while. So that's like, I know I'm going to do a lot of city driving, or I'm going to be doing a lot of idling. I don't think you need to do a forced regen. I'd let the truck do it. But yeah, so you're at 1.2 for your differential pressure, which I would agree with the truck, that is normal. I'm not sure why your OTR is reading 250%. That would be something we'd have to verify with the laptop, which number it's grabbing, why is it wrong, things like that.
Okay. You think it could be just it's not the right. But, and I was kind of under the impression when I got this that it would tell me what my ice level is, to know when the DPF filter was put in new and it's only been 3 months ago, probably guessing on miles 40,000.
Yeah, I'm going to tend to agree with the OEM truck one on this one. I'm not sure why yours is reading 250, but that's something that we should look into to get that squared away. Because if it's just a simple software update, I can talk to those guys over at OTR and we can get that fixed if it's just an issue with their coding.
Now, I was kind of waiting. The reason I haven't done a forced regen is because after I did the first one and it brought it down to 0 and it went up so quick, I thought, well, I'm going to wait for the truck, because it does that. It'll eventually come up to where it goes up about halfway and do a regen on its own. It's a little different than the one while you're going down the road. You could feel the difference. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah, you can. What year did you say it was again? What year Cascadia?
it's a 2019.
Yeah, so that'll have that asymmetric injection, and they've actually had complaints about that, and they've put out service bulletins that when that thing kicks in, that asymmetric injection, kind of like a split injection, when that kicks in, the truck feels funny, the engine doesn't feel right.
Right. You could tell a difference.
Yeah, they know about it. I don't know if there's really anything they're gonna do about it, because I think they've already committed to that path. So I think you got to wait till the next engine to come out to fix that.
The next one is a Gen 5. I don't know if that's different.
I haven't heard any complaints from the Gen 5, but they're also so new that you don't usually hear complaints from new trucks. So.
Okay. Yeah. So, all righty. Well, I appreciate it. I guess I'll kind of let it go. And I've had it derate me before it needed a 1 box. It derated me to 55, but it actually came out of it and all the lights went off and I made it home. That's why I decided to get the.
Yeah. If
that's
you'd like,
why I decided to get. Sorry. That was the reason for me to get the OTR gauge, so that I could do a regen and make it get home. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you'd like, I'd swing into a remote dealer, and then we can see which number it's picking up, and then we can patch that over to the guys at OTR to fix that.
Okay, all right. I'll try and get into doing. I know there's one by Lincoln, so.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Not a problem.
Thanks for the call. Let's go to California. Brian, welcome.
Good morning. Hey, I called about this issue about 7 or 8 months ago, and I've had my OTR tool for a little over about a year now, and it was going up to 250%, and I was playing with it. I called in about it, and you guys were telling me go buy the pressure differential. Okay, Freightliner told me that is more or less just a timer on that soot level on the OTR tool. And if you watch, okay, if he does a forced regen, it will set it back to 0. If he watches it mile by mile, about every 12 minutes, depending how fast you're driving, about every 12 minutes, it will go up 1%, which will equal just about 70 hours, at the end of the week, which will give you your 250%. Now, if he's not hauling heavy and stuff, it's going to stay at 250. But if he hauls a heavy load every once in a while and pulls some hills, the truck will do the passive regen on its own and take care of it. And you can watch it go down then. So that 250%, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm guessing then they're just grabbing the wrong parameter. There's so many generic ones that you can grab. I'm guessing they just grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah, I don't know what it's reading, but I brought it up to Freightliner, and then I called in to you guys and asked you, and you said go by the pressure differential. And I forget what you guys said. Was it like 5 or 6 on the pressure differential? When you get up there, then you're having issues. So if you're down there at 1 or below, there's no issues there. And I have it because I was doing forced regens when it got to 250%. I was doing them every week, and I called in, is that too much? And you guys are like, no, it can handle the heat, no problem. Well, I just figured, you know what? I'm just going to let the damn thing go and see what it does. And now I run 60, 62, something like that. And it has not done it hasn't done a park regen that that since I've stopped doing it. It'll do passive regens when I haul a heavy load, but that's it. So
that's awesome.
He doesn't need to worry about it when it says that 250. It'll reset it if he keeps watching it. Just he'll see it. So
yeah, I'm gonna.
I just wanted to call in. A lot of guys are asking that on Facebook too about it's 250% or it's 100%. You need new filters. No, you don't. No. It's doing exactly what it's reading or whatever. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a call in this afternoon and talk to Jason over there and see if we can't get that sorted out.
Yeah, it's really screwing drivers, the guys that are using it and actually looking at it, it's really screwing with their head. They can't comprehend the 250%. And I was the same way until I started playing with it and watching it religiously. But yeah, if that driver's listening, reset it to 0, do a forced regen, and just watch 12 minutes or 12 miles approximately. It will go up 1%. Never fails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
it's a good
yeah,
tip.
I tested it for, I don't know, for a couple of weeks. I was watching it real close. I'm like, son of a bitch. Okay. So, yep.
All
okay.
Right.
Well, that's all I had.
All right.
You guys have a good day.
Let's go north of the border to Alberta. What just happened?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're there. We lost Pittsburgh Power. Can we get them back? I don't know what happened. I don't think I did it.
Well, they may have an answer.
Yeah, we'll I think we're getting him back. All right, Colin, what's on your mind? Oh, they're back.
I'm wondering if
anyone has a thought on, so I drive a 2025 567 Peterbilt, and a lot of vehicles and trucks have a seatbelt adjustment. You can adjust the height of the top piece so it's not going across my face because I'm short. But Peterbilt doesn't have that as an option in their trucks. Like, you can't adjust the top piece. So I'm just wondering if anybody's ever done any, I'd hate to say the word modifications on a safety restraint, but I'm wondering if anyone's ever found something that you could bolt in differently inside the body to make that top point adjustable, like most big trucks have.
Not that I'm aware of.
I've
Never heard it as an issue.
No, I haven't either.
Because I've driven other trucks, it has a little slider thing. You click it and you can move the thing
Right.
up and down, so it kind of goes over your shoulder nice. Whereas this one, I have to put it down under the seat. Otherwise, it's like literally right across the side of my ear, and there's no way to change it. So.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, no, I haven't had any luck. I've looked all over the internet and asked in other groups too. I thought I'd try you guys today, but.
Yeah, I can't think of any way of fixing that. Any easy way of fixing that either.
Yeah. Well, short of like some major cab restructuring to take one off a different truck, but like,
yeah,
no one's gonna do that.
Right.
All right. Well, that was I should give you guys an update. When I first got this truck, I called in about some weird vibration at an exact torque, speed, and RPM.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think I've discovered, I think it was just the truck was lugging a little bit. Like if I dropped half a gear, it would go away because you'd be in a different range. So it's almost like there's a certain spot in the torque curve, like depending the weight and the hill. I think that's what it is because I just adjusted how I drive a little bit, and it just doesn't do, like, I can make it do it still, but I think that's all it was. I think it was just a kind of a lugging issue in the motor. It wasn't running. I think that's the right thing to call it, right? When your truck's kind of shaking.
Yeah.
If you shift gears,
Yeah. There's an RPM range on some engines that's just too low.
Yeah, and it was kind of like I could go below it and it would go away, but it's kind of as it comes through that range, it would kind of shake a little bit and then go away. So
got it.
What
every once in a while on a certain hill at a certain weight, I have to just drop half a gear and it's fine. So yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right. We're gonna head off to fix this. We're gonna head off to Kansas this time. Perry, welcome.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys. I use the max mileage and the Flashpoint, and then I've got your Cold Snap, but I know that the Cold Snap has cetane in it also. Does it have enough that I need to stop using the Flashpoint?
Any thoughts, Brian?
I would think you'd still be good with using the Flashpoint because there's two different ways you can use the Flashpoint. You can use it at the 1 ounce to 15 gallons of fuel, and it gives you a 3.5 increase on your cetane. Or if you mix it double that, it gives you the 7 on the cetane. And you could just use the 1 ounce per 15 gallon, and then use the Cold Snap also. I think it'd be just fine.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's pretty simple because I do use the 2 ounces for the performance, and it does seem to really help.
Fill it on. See what see how it feels to you. That's what I like to tell people to just kind of start at the lower end and work their way up, and that's an easier way to tell if something makes a change versus going to the top and trying to work your way backwards.
All right. And just on another note, I've got a 2024 Ram 5500 with the 6.7 Cummins. And from day one, I have used the max mileage in that truck. And I have never, on the DPF gauge, I have never seen that gauge come off a 0.
Good.
Pretty amazing. Between working the truck and using the max mileage, I think it has just done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that
So,
makes a difference too if you're actually working it versus just putzing around with it.
yeah, it works, and it's got 47,000 miles on it now. I've put it in service in February, and from February to now, I've never seen EF gauge. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thanks
you for the call. Let's go to Iowa this time. Todd, it's your turn.
Hi guys, I got a question. I've got a Cummins ISX CM2250, years 2011, 1.25 million miles on it. Besides oil consumption, what other indicators do I need to watch to know when to rebuild it?
None.
Oil samples, wear metals.
Oil samples?
Yeah, the oil samples and your wear metals. You know, you get someone like Eric here or Kevin there, and have them review that with you, and they can tell you, you know, the status of your engine a lot better.
Okay, I do oil samples.
So where is your
Have
oil?
been for a while.
Where is your oil consumption?
1 gallon at about 25,000 miles.
Yeah, the cylinder kits are like new because obviously nothing's going on in the cylinder as far as wear.
Right.
When we, for whatever reason, at some point an engine just does start to show increased wear metals, and that's usually a sign at some point you're going to be looking at an in-frame, but it really still just does come down to oil consumption. I mean, we can tell you that
Okay.
it's probably starting, we're heading in that direction, but when you're at 25,000 miles, you've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, it was down to a gallon every 7,000 miles, but I've been using your max mileage for a while, and I think it got rid of all the carbon around the rings because it went back up to 25,000.
Well, that would explain that.
And my other question is, when I come to a stop at like a stop sign or I'm parking for the day, it runs 6 to 9 pounds of boost for about 5 minutes and then goes down to 0. Will your tune do anything with that? Well, it's more annoying than anything. And I've heard there's an update from Cummins that takes care of that. Would your tune also do that?
As far as I don't know, as I know, I don't think that there's an update to do that. It depends on what's going on. If it's swapping around modes, then yeah, you would have to get rid of certain emissions components or parts in the file to make it not warm up or do that warm up mode thing. So I would say no, it's probably not going to, but
your
I don't
tune
know
doesn't
exactly
do anything with that either.
No, but like I said, I'm not sure what's going on with why it's warming up like that or why it makes boost and then all of a sudden doesn't. So we would have to see why it's doing it, and then if we can get rid of it, we could, but we'd have to see what's going on first.
Okay, now would that have to be something at your shop, or could you do that remotely?
We can do it remotely if it's repeatable, like if you can get it to do it
it
every
does
day
it.
or more.
It does it like 97% of the time.
Yeah, so then we would just need to go to a remote dealer, get hooked up, and then just replicate the issue with the laptop hooked up.
Okay. Yeah, because when it stops, if I touch the fuel pedal again, it starts right up and does it again. Another 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on with it first.
Okay. Because I do want to get one of your tunes. I just got to get the time to do it and the right place to do it. So. But,
There you go.
That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's head off to Mississippi. This is the last call we've got on the board. James, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I've got a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia with the DD15. and the last 2 weeks, the check engine light and the other little engine light will kick on, and the fan kicks on, and it'll stay on for sometimes a couple of hours, and then it'll just go off on its own. But this week, I come back out yesterday after home time, and it's been on the whole time. I was wondering if y'all have any idea what's going on there.
Yeah, you'd have to get some sort of code from it, and then we could kind of go from there. Without that, I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because on the dash, when I switch over to the little wrench where the codes and stuff normally pops up, it's showing nothing active.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, but if you're getting a light, then something is recording what's going on with it. So
Yeah, the fan, how that most time it would only come on, pulling a big hill or something. When it would get over toward the red there, it would kick on, cool it back off. I'm running temperature wise, it's staying at 190 running down the road. But I didn't know if
Yeah.
that was, and it seems like it's using a little more depth than normal. I don't know if that's because the engine is running a little cooler than normal. And if you try to idle it, like last night, it got a little bit cool, and I started the truck, and it won't build shit for heat. It stayed down real low on the temperature gauge.
Yeah, it's probably something you want to probably get looked at.
Yeah. I didn't know if it might be a relay or something causing the clutch fan to engage or what.
I'm assuming the ECM is probably turning it on purpose and some sort of fail. It's the fault reaction to whatever's going on. It pops up, and then maybe it could be one of these things where it disables EGR and kicks the fan on. It could be a lot of different things. It could just be a fault or a fan related thing. Not real sure until we get some sort of number out of it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. We are going to wrap up today. Anything you guys want to close with?
No, I'm good.
I'm good as well.
All right. We will see you guys again next week. I've got a couple announcements, a couple big announcements, actually. Today, later today, and there's still time to sign up, Aaron is hosting a Profit Gauges webinar. He'll walk you through the program, show you exactly how simple it is to use. And this is a great time of year. Think about it. Right now, you've got 11 months worth of data. If you sign up for the Profit Gauges trial, it's a 30-day trial, you don't even have to put in a credit card. All you have to do is go sign up for it. Even if you've already done it in the past, we'll reset it for you. If you were to sign up for the 30-day trial right now, you could go back this week and put in all of your data all the way up through November. You'll have 11 months worth of reports. And then 30 days from now, you can just finish up December, and you'll be able to do your whole year worth of accounting at no cost. We do that because once we know once you use that program, you're going to keep using it. So go check it out. Check out the webinar today. It's a great way to get started. It's at 3 o'clock Eastern. That's noon here on the left coast. It is free, and Aaron is really good at showing you how to use this program. He should be. He's been programming it for over a decade. So don't miss that. Also, another big announcement. CMC registration for 2025 is now live. CMC is an official part of the Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. I'm being yelled at in the background. I forgot to tell you to go to the website letstruck.com to get signed up for that webinar. That's coming up today. Still time. Go get signed up for that at letstruck.com. CMC registration is open, so check that out as well. We'll be talking about that a lot. We will kick off the 2025 CMC at Louisville coming up real soon. So head on over to the website, get signed up for everything, letstruck.com. We will see you back here tomorrow for Destination Health. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.